Hello and welcome back to SCP readings. This one is going to be SCP-003. I hope you enjoy. Item SCP-003. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-003 is to be maintained in a constant temperature of no less than 35 Celsius and ideally kept above 100 Celsius, or whatever. No living multicellular organism of category IV or higher complexity may be allowed to come into contact with SCP-003. In the event of total power failure, if SCP-003-1 begins to increase its mass, assigned personnel must engage in skin contact with SCP-003-1. Ideally, personnel must use their body to heat to return SCP-003-1 to above the circle temperature, basically. However, skin contact must be maintained even if an event of SCP-001 reaching activation temperatures lasting a minimum up until SCP-003-1 advances fully to the second growth stage. As personnel who enter SCP-003's containment area must be examined for body parasites and category IV or higher complexity and sterilized if such organisms are present. All personnel who have come in physical contact with SCP-001 are immediately reported to for sterilization afterwards. SCP-001 must not be removed from SCP-002, from SCP-003-2, except in the case of emergency procedures detailed above. Any significant change in SCP-003-2's rune activity, including pattern, frequency, or color, should be reported within 3 hours of occurrence. Cessation of rune activity must be reported immediately. SCP-003-2 must be supplied with power via the source designated generator 003-1X, -IX, at all times. Description: SCP-002 consists of two related components of separate origin, referred to as SCP-003-1 and SCP-003-2. SCP-003-1 appears to be composed of chitin hair and nails of unknown biology, arranged in a configuration similar to that of a computer motherboard. Testing reveals SCP-003-1 to predate earliest known circuit boards by a factor of thousands of years. SCP-003-1 is considered sentient but not actively dangerous except under certain conditions. SCP-003-1 was found on a stone tablet SCP-003-2 on which is currently resides. The runes of SCP-003-2 are not only of any known language and emit panel flickering lights patterns. SCP-003-2 is controlled by a non-biological internal computer, the contents of which are most inaccessible with risk of damaging SCP-003-2. SCP-003-2 is capable of controlled emissions of radiation, including heat, light, and anomalous radiation types. SCP-003-2 contains an interval power source of an anomalous nature, which appears to have been losing power since several centuries before discovery. It is considered probable that SCP-003-2 was created for the purpose of containing SCP-003-1, particularly the interpreted data recovered from SCP-003-2 may refer to the past and the potential future LK class restructuring event caused by SCP-003-1. Sorry, is my voice cracky or something? Ooh. SCP-003 was located by viewing team SRV-04 Beta. It appears possible that SRV-04 Beta was deliberately contacted by SCP-003-2. Other organizations have also been altered by SCP-003's existence, possibly by similar means. Despite this activity, SCP-003 does not appear to be sentient, based on its lack of reaction to MO3-Gloria analysis by procedures. When SCP-003 drops below the temperature of 35 degrees Celsius, both components react. First, SCP-003-E-1 enters a growth state categorized by an exponential increase in mass. This growth state consists of two stages. In both stages, SCP-003-1 particularly fuels its growth by converting matter around it, starting by any surrounding inorganic material, including the atmospheric elements. The non-living organic material, including cells of dead skin, hair, chitin, enamel, citrine, curdane, whatever, and other biological materials. The first stage is always the same. SCP-003-1 will first increase its mass, then take the form similar in shape by an brittle star of 15 meters in diameter, including that appears to be a certain processor of 3 meters in diameter. It will form a sensor organs that appear to scan the surrounding environments and will partially convert the area into unidentified anomalous substances. SCP-003-2 seems immune from conversion. The second stage describes a growth alternation, which occurs when SCP-003 comes into contact with living organic material. SCP-003 appears to template itself off the organic material and will attempt communication with organisms that match its initial template or templates. In the second stage, SCP-003-1 may pause, slow or changing its growth, and will also convert inorganic material into non-living organic elements into functional similar structures while anomalous altering their physical makeup. While growing is consistent in the first stage, in the second stage, SCP-003-1's growth rate is diminished by 20 to 90%. So long as SCP-003-1 remains in contact with living organics material, the percentage is determined to be complexity of the organisms in contact with SCP-003-1. SCP-003-1 appears to be devote a large amount of processing power to analyze the living organic material. During each of SCP-003-1's growth stages, SCP-003-2 who releases bursts of radiation and temporarily inhabit SCP-003-1's growth, or reverse this growth when the temperature of SCP-003-1 rises above 100 Celsius. Similar radiation emissions have been elected or recorded via other anomalous means. During other SCP-003-1 biologically he has been subject of intense study. Significant elements what have been identified similar to SCP-redacted, SCP-1512, and SCP-27556. Two of which of no further confirmed connections with SCP-003-1 and no connections with each other, and none of them which are fully understood technically, even less understood than SCP-003. Thanks to extensive cross-disciplinary research on SCP-003 objects, to date no consensus analysis has been put forward which satisfactorily explains SCP-003-1's connections to these SCP objects or others, nor its connections to modem technology beyond appearance, and potentially murmurs through via unknown mechanisms. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.